Too bad your house isn't like YouTube. You got tons of traffic coming here. Well, I'm back again. Michael's a typical mechanic. Of course, he's digging into something and comes up with more problems. Can't trust him as far as I can throw him. Sounds like he's hot rodding it. All right. Looks like he's got an electric fence here. What in the hell is going on? What the hell are you doing?
I just got done changing the oil here.
All right.
What are you digging back with
Well,
that
fuck it.
camera again or what?
Yeah, you got to, man.
Well, you're in good hands over here.
Steven Seagal would have had her done in probably overnight.
What are you talking about, Steven Seagal? I hate Steven Seagal.
Oh, who are you like?
Well, Chuck Norris, buddy. You know.
Chuck Norris. You know what I heard? Chuck Norris had Gary Coleman do all of his stunts.
Oh, really?
Well, most
you know
of
how
them.
big of a fan I am of Chuck. I cannot believe you better shut that camera. I'm serious. You can't.
Nope.
Working on this four-wheeler for you, Nick, and you bring it over, and then you come over and assault Chuck Norris in my house. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I heard that everything you did was a lie.
What are you talking about? What are you, Steven Seagal fan?
Yeah, I like the guy, you know. Him and Charles Bronson, they used to have brewskis together and, you know, snakes on a plane, whatever. They did a lot of good acting.
You got to get out of here. I will call you. Don't be laughing. I'm serious. You got to get the hell out of here.
I can't. I got no ride.
What?
My Uber's not going to be here for another 45 minutes.
Well, I'll call you an Uber. You ain't going to assault Chuck Norris in my garage. I can tell you that right now.
Chuck Norris.
Get out of. Okay, and now we're going to change the oil today, which is going to be real simple. I'm going to go through the whole process here. We're going to use an Amsoil full synthetic 5W50, and actually on these scramblers you can go to an OW40. I'll get into that further in the video, and we're actually going to go to a high flow oil filter, which is going to give this more oil flow to the engine. A lot of people really don't know what I'm talking about. I'll get into that as well. And then I'll also talk about priming the line. A lot of the videos I've watched online, they don't show or explain that, and I will show and explain that to you. However, I'm probably not going to take the bolt out that on the right side that's going to require the priming, but I'm going to show you what to do if you do need to prime. And if you are not comfortable with the priming process, don't do it. Take your ATV to somebody, a professional that knows what they're doing. Because if you don't get that primed, you basically destroy your engine. So we'll get into this here, and then check the links below if you would. Facebook, Instagram, TorrentPerformance, check me out. Starting to get a little more followers on Instagram. Facebook's kind of, you know, the whole Facebook thing, people don't realize how basically throttled Facebook is. Facebook is a business. People don't realize that. It's a social media business. And if you're not spending money with Facebook, it's hard to get out there. So, you know, as I'm selling Amsoil, I'm trying to selling oil and selling anything to your friends and family is one thing, but that part of me getting on YouTube was to actually reach out farther and reach more people that I don't know. Had a few people message me on Aprilia motorcycle stuff. One was from Croatia. I don't want to get into that now. And the other, I can't even pronounce his name. I think he was from Saudi Arabia. I have no idea. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name until I get into his other stuff. And then somebody with a CBR Honda contacted me because they ran Amsoil, and I'm not even their dealer. I asked them about their dealer. They said no, the dealership just sells the oil because Amsoil has strict guidelines that if they have an Amsoil dealer already, I just burped. They have an Amsoil dealer already, I'm really not even supposed to deal with them or walk away from them. But you know, some of this stuff with Amsoil that I'm getting into, I don't really like, because if you're providing somebody with a service and you're an Amsoil dealer and they're not happy with the Amsoil dealer that they have, I should be able to basically take that dealer from you. Hate to be, it's a dog eat world, but this is a business, and if someone isn't providing the business support that they need, then they should be able to just walk away from them. But Amsoil has guidelines, totally understand. It's been around for a while, not dissing Amsoil. Real happy with them. But check the links below. And another update on the Mr. Potato Head situation. Put it on Craigslist Somebody gave me 40 bucks for that thing. Funny thing was, when they showed up, they're like, oh, do you have, they were talking about the lips that you put on there. Do you have those pieces? I'm like, dude, I got Mr. Potato Head. It's all I got. I don't have any of the pieces. Oh, I really need those pieces. I said, well, good luck. This is what it costs. I even came down $10. So, yeah, anyway, there goes my phone. So, I'm out of here. I'm actually not out of here. We're going to change the oil and get this thing running good. Before I take my vehicle or anything like that to go get worked on, I'd probably just fill the gas tank up. That way you know how much gas is in it. But the Quick Shot made by Amsoil, basically you can store your ATV with it for up to 6 months, I believe is what it is. And it's treatment and stabilizer. I've used it in all my bikes. It'll clean it up. It's for fuel injection or carburetor, but we're going to put this in here because I'm going to have to run this to heat the oil up and let it run through the carburetor, and then he should be good to go. So get this in here. And the nice thing about this bottle here is it's actually marked on the side for how much you're going to use. So on the side it's got marks on it. Boy, that starter don't sound right. That starter sounds like it's staying on. That may be how it sounds. That starter don't sound right. He said he had some flywheel issues, is why it went into the shop the first time. So I'll be on the phone with him again over that. Okay, and so what we're going to do here is we're going to drain the oil from the ATV itself, and what you want to do is just remove your oil cap first and get that off there. Set this aside. And I actually removed the foot panels, which is going to make this a little bit easier, and you've got a 14 millimeter drain plug here, and we're going to pull that out and let that drain. So, and go ahead and let that drain. And don't forget that you need to warm this engine up about 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes will be fine. And we'll go clean this drain plug over on the bench and let this all drain out. But the oil actually doesn't look too bad. He told me he changed it himself, but I wasn't real sure when he did that last. So just let all that fluid drain out, and we'll go to the workbench. When I drain any fluid, I like to look at the fluid. It's pretty dark, as you can see, but I mean, it doesn't look too bad. So it's not as bad as that rear end differential. That actually that needed to be changed a long time ago. He said he'd never done it before. So, you know, it doesn't look too bad. Just dispose of this oil properly, guys. A lot of auto parts stores, they'll take your used oil for free, especially like AutoZone and O'Reilly and whatnot. But we'll get this drain plug put back in here. And one thing I was reading online was that these tanks are prone to leak if you over torque them on there. And the one thing I noticed on that drain plug was that it actually had a nylon washer, not a copper washer. And I'm not real sure if that's how that was supposed to be, but that's what I put back on it. So that's what we're going to put back on here. So we'll get this put in here and torque down. And if you go from a Polaris to a Fram to Another random filter, what I've noticed as well from reading, is that the filters vary in size. And he actually said he put this on by hand, so, which I don't really recommend, but I've seen a few people done this, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I actually got the tool when I ordered directly from Amsoil to remove these filters and put them on. They're only a couple dollars to fit the oil filter, and this is actually a Polaris oil filter, so I'll show the tool to you when we put the other one in. It's just an ease of operation, and it barely cost any money to buy these oil filter wrenches. Just let that kind of drain itself out before you fall off. Okay, and now we're just going to pull this oil filter off and take it up to the bench. It looks much larger than the other one. Yeah, it is. Okay, here we go back to the bench. Okay, and the one other thing that I did want to mention was that Amsoil has actually started selling oil change kits through their website. And if you want a catalog from Amsoil, just click the links below. They'll send you one for free. And it really helped me out if you use my dealer number. But the buying the 2 quarts and the filter is actually more expensive than buying the kits, so I recommend buying the kits from them now. But this is the oil filter. I wanted to compare it to the, they're about the same. The lip actually looks a little different, but yeah, it looks like the ports are larger, and it's got a different media filter in the middle of it, because it's a high flow filter from Amsoil. But yeah, so, and this is the oil filter wrench tool. This is just going to ease the operation of getting it on and off, especially if you got one on there that's over torqued, just a few dollars. So we are going to have to unwrap this filter. And you always put oil on the lip of the filter. And I'm actually going to put oil in this filter. Shouldn't take very much. You don't want to put too much in here, because when you go to install it back, it will dump all over the place. Okay, we'll go to get this filter put back on here. And now we are going to thread this filter on and then torque it down. Now on the side here, I'm actually going to remove the crankcase bolt to drain the crankcase, and it's kind of tricky to get to on these. See if I get a better angle. This is, let me get a better angle. And as you can see here, this is your crankcase bolt here. And we need to get to that. I'm not sure what that line is there, but it's a 14 millimeter, so we'll get to remove that. Move your oil pan, because you're going to have some oil come out of it. It's much easier to do this with the running boards off. Now, the one thing that I am going to do, you know, hence I'm an Amsoil dealer, is we're actually going to run the new Amsoil 5W50 in his ATV. And that stuff is formulated for ATVs or UTVs. Not a big fan of putting car oil inside your four-wheeler, especially if you have a wet clutch on like a sport quad or something. But you can actually run the OW40 line of the four-stroke, Formula four-stroke line of Amsoil in that as well. That's good for like high temperatures or even lower temperatures when you need, it's a little bit lower of a weight of an oil. So in the cold, it'll actually get to your vital components faster, just like any full synthetic would over regular synthetic. But what we're going to do is we're just going to clean, and there really isn't too much metal on here. You're always going to have a little bit, but there's actually a screen on the other side of the fitting of that oil, the oil tank, and I am not going to remove that. I did talk to the owner, and he said he did not remove it last time. And I got on the internet, and everybody says that every time they remove it, it's clean. So I'm not going to remove it. And actually, this four-wheeler takes 2 quarts. If you don't remove that line, which won't require you to prime the system, you're actually looking at 1 3/4 quarts, so 1 3/4. Well, it never fails. You drop the drain plug when you're filming YouTube. That's all right. Mistakes get made. And here, just put this drain plug back in there. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how on priming the system. If you pull that hose off with that screen off of that oil tank here. Now this is the back of the oil tank here, and as you can see, this is the hose here with the metal screen in it. And I understand why they did that. I think there were other ways you could have designed that, but if you remove that, you need to make sure that you put the proper Loctite on there. I believe it's the blue Loctite. If you take that out, you need to put that back on there. And if you do remove that, you will have to prime the system. And I'm actually going to prime the system anyway to show you, but I'll move this camera here so I can show you the top of the can. Now what you have here is this top line here is where you prime it at. And what this is going to do is you're going to pinch this off with clamps, probably not needle nose. I've got some clamps, I'm just showing you. And basically that's going to keep air from coming through the vent of this to force the oil in to prime it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put the oil in it, and then I'll come in and clamp this and show you how to prime it. You prime it for about 20 seconds, and then you should hear air rush into the system. So that's how you do that, but if you've never really done it before, I kind of don't recommend doing it. And now we're going to put the oil in. These little funnels just make it so much easier when you're changing oil rather than using another funnel. They're basically adjustable. I mean, if you watch my differential videos, they get in there with the cap attachment, and they're just so much easier to use. And just let it go, and just pour it slow. I'm never in a rush for this oil changes. I've been in a rush before, and I've just spilled oil all over the place. Don't forget to put your cap back on. Now I put 1 3/4 oil in that because I did not remove that other filter. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get the system ready, and I'll pull it out and double check it after I let it run for a minute. I may put the other in, I may not. So okay, and as you can see, there's the hose there, and you want to come about 2 inches off of it when you do this. So there's actually supposed to be a pressure release on the hose itself. I do not know if there is, and that hose has been taken off and replaced. I can tell you right now because it doesn't have the circle circlips on it. It's got the adjustable circlip on there. So we'll do this here. Actually, when I did that, you could actually feel the air build up, and it made a noise, and I could feel the pressure of the oil coming into that vent line already. So I let off of it real quick. But if you remove that, you'll want to do that for 20 seconds, and you'll feel the oil come through the line. This new oil quieted this engine down quite a bit. There was a lot of rattle going on here. So let this engine warm up. Can't wait to ride it. Okay, then we're going to check the oil level of the oil. To do this, you're going to put the cap on and twist it on and then pull it back out. And we are good to go. If anybody needs any Amsoil, go ahead, click the links below. Amsoil will send you a free catalog, and if this video helped you out, help me out. And if you do order Amsoil, definitely check out the Atv-Utv kits. There's a new product called Mudslinger, the front and rear differential oil, and also look at signing up as a preferred customer and use my dealer number 554-1460. It really helps me out so I can keep making videos. But yeah, Amsoil's the way to go. Oil, front, rear diff is done. Gonna go ahead and get to the brakes probably next, and then send this thing back on its way. Yeah, so big difference I can tell already in it from just changing the diff and the training fluid. So we're out here.